As you know, a fearless October protest is approaching gradually, and the federal government led by Chief Bola Tinubu will not say that they did not have over a month to be able to know who the leaders of this protest are, what the demands for this very protest that is upcoming for going on 1 month. And of course, this very thing was brought out by the organizers of the End Bad Governance protest, who have issued a 7-point ultimatum to the federal government in anticipation of their demonstrations scheduled for October 1st, 2024. According to the reports that are just coming out today, the demands include the immediate and unconditional release of the 10 protesters who are still in various cells across the country, the unfreezing of the assets that the federal government has confiscated under Chief Bola Tinubu, and the compensation for the distress and hardship suffered during this very peaceful demonstration, not the one of flying flags across the northern state, but the peaceful demonstrations in Abuja and many other places. The movement also calls for the removal and the prosecution of government officials implicated in suppressing protests and violating human rights, such as Nyesom Wike and what he did in Abuja. We have the likes of Omoyele Sowore, one of the organizers, who had outlined additional demands. He cited the abolition of the 1999 Constitution and its replacement with a constitution created by the people, along with restructuring of Nigeria to better reflect the diversity of the key of Nigeria. A minimum wage, they say, should not be less than 250,000 per month for Nigerian workers. Substantial investment in education, provision of grants rather than loans to students, and the implementation of free and compulsory education for children across Nigeria. The group also demanded the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the militarization of the Southeast, and the release and compensation of all NSAS and political detainees, among other issues. These are what is coming up. And of course, we will not forget to inform you about the planned trip again by Chief Bola Tinubu to China. We are sensing that Chief Bola Tinubu wants to travel again with luxurious new private presidential jet to probably go and beg Jinping, the Chinese president, don't mind my calling his name, to beg him to probably release and allow him use the borrowed aircraft that the Nigerian president is using to travel. And with me to have all these discussions, I have well-meaning Nigerians who is joining me virtually to have the discussion of all of this, what is happening in Nigeria. And of course, they will be also making a reference to the let me not forget to thank the people who participated in yesterday's engagement with His Excellency P2B, as we shared insights on how a new Nigeria is certainly possible. But let's get to the point of today. So thank you very much for honoring our invitation to chat with PO and voice your opinion, which of course you can watch in Obidient Family TV on the yesterday's video. So let's quickly get this started. We have the person of Mr. Bassi, who is joining us to start this discussion on the Fearless October. So Mr. Bassi, please tell me, do you think that there is need for this protest coming on the 1st of October, or you think it will be another wasted effort? We've lost the audio of Mr. Bassi. Let's Mr. Bassi, can you hear me?
fluctuating. Can you
net. Yeah,
hear me, please?
hearing. Yeah, I can hear you now, but I don't know if.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Kanu. Good evening, fellow panelists on Zoom. Good day, Obidient Worldwide. My take in the October protest is that as long as government have refused to listen to the demands of the protesters, we will continue to have protests and until they meet the demand of the citizen. And I can only say that this time around they have been given more than a month notice. It is imperative that government at this point should begin effort to see how they can meet the demands of the protesters. I do know that some of those demands may not be met within a short term, but they should show goodwill to make the people know that they are they have good intention to ameliorate the sufferings of the people. Because right from the last time the protest was held, we haven't seen anything tangible to show any sign of improvement in the economy, but rather things are going worse by the day. And a few days ago, NBS came out with a report that our GDP is on the positive, but we are yet to see that reflected in the day-to-day the life of the average Nigerian, because what MBS comes out with the report is just about theoretical, but we physically we are not seeing that reflected in the prices of things. Recently, the price of gas have gone to the rooftop, cooking gas, and that is supposed to be an alternative energy. As we are preaching about environment, but we are not seeing that reflected in the way the price of things. So I am of the opinion that government at this point in time should listen to the demands of the protesters and begin to show goodwill by ensuring that those demands are met to forestall further protests. But as long as they refuse to do that, Nigerians will continue to pour out in the street and to protest. And I will also suggest that at this point in time, the security agencies should also take time to ensure that the protesters are not being cowed. They are not being intimidated like what we saw happen the last time. They should, at this point in time, begin to plan how to protect the protesters whenever they are coming out to protest. Because we all see that they have more intelligence when it comes to finding the people behind the protest. But rather than using that intelligence to ensure that the worsened security situation in the country is being nipped, and we see that Boko Haram is on rampage in the northeast, in the northwest. We are seeing armed banditry taking people for ransom on a daily basis. Yet The security agencies cannot have intelligence to be able to locate those people, but they are quick to have intelligence to locate people who are protesting peacefully. Look at the case of the Pidon. Imagine how they were able to get that guy wherever he was by intelligence. So it therefore shows that if these security agencies are willing to do their work, obviously they will be able to flush out all the bandits, all the security concern that is disturbing this nation, that is not allowing people to go to their farm, that is causing this food shortage in the country, because farmers can no longer go to their farm. I listened to one analyst, security analyst, and he was making mention of the fact that it is easier to find out the people who are planning protests than to look for bandits who are flaunting this thing on the TikTok. That is not easy to clamp down on such people. I said, what kind of an excuse is this? How can this person make such an excuse? Are we saying that in a nation of ours, we cannot clamp down on criminals, but yet we can clamp down on innocent citizens who does no harm to the economy, who does no harm to the country? So this is my take in this. I would encourage that the security agency should do much more than that they did the last time. They should use this opportunity to ensure that their image is coming back on the positive direction, rather than going about killing, shutting down protesters. They should also be able to protect them and ensure that they don't allow those people who always infiltrate protesters to infiltrate and cause havoc. That will be my take on this. Thank you.
Bassi, let's quickly, thank you very much, Mr. Bassi. Let's quickly
look at Lord Kingsley. Quickly on this very same topic. The question is it really important or necessary for Nigerians to engage coming out in the street once again, since their demand since August 1st did not work out or was not attended to by the Chief Bola Tinubu's led administration? You think it is again another clarion call for Nigerians to come out in the streets and make their demands? And again, the demand that they are coming up with, do you think they are demands that are really, that may be dealt with, especially talking about 250,000 naira for minimum wage that is already passed to law at 70,000 naira? And also, whether we have learned from the last protest about how police really do instigate protesters who innocently protest or by procession in the street, but the police comes and instigates violence in the midst of this protester, thereby causing the reaction from the protesters that will now make that to be bloody. You think those lessons have learned, and you also think whether the security agencies will do the needful by October 1st?
Yes, good evening, fellow Nigerians. Good evening, Obedience around the world, everyone in the studio and Zoom panel. To my own idea, I believe that yes, it is necessary that we come out again by that October to make our wishes known, because the hunger we propagated in August, that Nigerians, we are hungry, it seems that fell on a deaf ear. It seems there was nothing done about it, and there's nothing to be done about it. But instead, the government, I mean, they rubbed it in our faces by going out to spend more. They're traveling around the place. I mean, having no happened before. Today or a time we shall all come out again to express our feelings. But this time, we want it to be done in a peaceful manner. We want it to be done in an orderly manner. It's not a case where we'll go out burning, destroying, or causing havoc to our infrastructures in the country or in our localities, because we are going to be paying for that again one way or the other. So this time, we are advising that everybody come out, but in a peaceful manner. But this time, it should be a massive movement. It should be a massive movement. And by so saying, we also urge the authorities. We also urge the authorities that now you have also felt this hunger in the land, because you came out at a time protesting that you've not received your salaries, or your salaries are reaching nowhere, or you cannot afford to pay your children's school fees, which is the general cry of the country. So this time, we want the authorities now to be part of what we are dealing with. We want the authorities to stand firm with what we are going to come out to cry for, because we are all Nigerians. We are all working together. We all want the betterment of our family, betterment for our families, and the welfare of the state. So by you coming out to join us, we're not saying don't come with your uniforms or whatever, but come out in a sensible manner. Not obey all the others. Say, come and shoot tear gas at your fellow Nigerians, kill your fellow Nigerians for fighting for you. So now is the time. I mean, there is well over a month's notice now that they are coming out on the 1st, and we don't know how long this is going to take, because the first time we came out, where we gave them time that we're coming from the 1st to the 10th, oh, they said, okay, they are going to contain us for that period, and after that, nothing will happen. But this time, we don't know if it's going to be indefinite. So we want the authorities to be aware that, yes, this is happening, but then we want their cooperation, because Nigerians, they are ready to cooperate. Nigerians are ready to march peacefully. We are ready to do everything according to the law, according to the constitution, but no more killings, no more shooting.
But okay. Another challenge that I foresee in
October 1st protest is this very rampant issue of getting a court order to confine demonstrators or protesters in a certain location. Don't you think that from now till that time that the leaders or the organizers of this very protest, don't you think it would be the time for them to, get also go to court and see how to challenge such orders that are coming from the court, because it seems like those orders really touch on the fundamental human rights of people who are protesting peacefully? Don't you think that they should test that very law or the orders that have been gotten before, so that it will be easier for people to actually march to where they wish to march, whether they want to go to the National Assembly peacefully, whether they want to march to the villa peacefully, other than being confined in a certain space? Don't you think they should use this very 1 month period to test the law? After all, the promoters of this very protest, Omoyele Sowore, happens to have graduated. I think he has graduated as a lawyer, or rather he has been called to bar. And then Deji Adeyenju, I think, also was called to bar. So why don't you think that they should right now commence testing the orders that were gotten by the FCT minister and the one that was gotten in Lagos and elsewhere, to test it, put it to test, so that by the 1st of October that they call a fearless protest, that people can actually march in the street without being fearless of any court, of disobeying any court order?
In as much as you are a citizen of Nigeria, in as much as you are a living entity in Nigeria, you have freedom of movement. You have freedom of speech. So whatever the courts that I believe has been done, whatever document I believe that has been manipulated or enforced by bribery and corruption will not stand under this condition. It will not stand. In the sense that the federal state capital, Abuja, Lagos, or wherever they got those judgments from, or they got those documents from, those lawyers or the judges are all fraudulent and should not be accepted. So I don't think it is necessary that we go start looking for a judgment to counter whatever they are doing, because it is not applicable. It is not applicable.
Thank you very much.
All the activists that have actually gone out to do whatever they've done before, even Tinubu himself, when he came out to protest, did he go to get judgment to be confined to an area? No, you have freedom of movement, freedom of speech. As long as you don't go out destroying anything, you are free to do. Protest is your human right, and it should stand so for good. Thank you.
Okay, may I come in? May I interject there, please?
Yes, sir.
The issue is the court judgment, however fraudulent it is, must be obeyed. What the protesters should do is, the organizer is to see how they can set aside that judgment by appealing it.
You cannot, even though if you appeal it to that court,
that is
they will turn it down.
And
if you appeal to that same
it
court,
doesn't have to be in that court. It can go to a higher court, appeal to a higher court.
Yes,
and
Nigerian courts are fraudulent, and they are
also apply for stay of execution. That is what the lawyers should do.
Hello.
Yeah, because however fraudulent the court.
Hello. Let me come in. Reverend Pete, I'll be coming to you right now. What I just wanted to bring out is the fact
during this protest, both in Abuja and Lagos, that the FCT minister did procure an order that confined protesters at Moshood Abiola Stadium. And of course, in Lagos, I think it's somewhere in Ojota, as the case might be. What I'm talking about is that the protesters, the leaders, organizers of this protest have ample time to test the law. I believe that most of those organizers that I've seen online, both Sowore, Adeyanju, and co., that most of them are lawyers and should test that very particular court orders, meaning they could challenge the previous one, or in other words, they could also follow up to make sure that it doesn't occur again. But as for court orders, we know that they are going to get court orders confining the protest. They may not stop Fearless October, whatever name you gave it. They might not be able to stop the protest, but they may likely once again get an order that will confine the protester to a certain place. So if the organizers have time right now, don't you think it is the right time for them to test the fact that that very order infringes on the constitutional right of Nigerians to protest under this very hardship condition? That's what I was talking about. But let's quickly.
That is where anarchy will be called upon the land again, because you know for sure that the citizens coming out to protest will not want to listen to that, regardless of how the force will want to come up to say they want to enforce that law. Trust me, it's going to cause chaos, and then there's going to be much more anarchy in the land. Thank you.
I think, thank you very much. I think basically what's located
is talking about is that the police will basically leverage on those orders to incite violence in the midst of peaceful protesters. But let's leave that there. The message is already out there for the organizers to actually test the judgments or the orders that were gotten at the last protest, so that moving forward they know how to attend to it. So let me quickly get you, Reverend. You have so much in your mind, but please, we have limited time, Reverend, before I get to Tony. So Reverend, please tell me your take on this, especially as Chief Bola Tinubu is cruising on his presidential jet, the borrowed presidential jet, because what we heard from the Chinese that brokered this news to Nigerian is that they were lending this very presidential jet for Chief Bola Tinubu to travel to France. However, we noticed that the same jet is back in Nigeria and Chief Bola Tinubu is planning to travel to China. Do you think that he's going to negotiate for the release of this his luxurious presidential jet, or you think that he has already settled with the Chinese? What are your take on this?
Kanu, for having me. And I want to thank every members of the panelists and so many others who are listening and watching from wherever you are at this hour. You see, there is something. Before I go, I want to also thank His Excellency P.O. Obi for yesterday. And something I've been saying, he has given us the enlightenment of it yesterday. That is the structures, which we will discuss that later. See, the truth is that this man, he wanted to go to France with this. I mean, he invited he appealed to the Chinese government to bring him this aircraft, so as to let Nigeria know that this aircraft has been bought, and he want to see the reaction of the Nigerians. So, because he cannot just come up to say that we bought this jet, we bought the aircraft, and it was seized. So, that was the game he played there. And right now, he's going. You should know that this man. You should know the trick of this man now. The man is going to France. I mean, he's going to China, yeah. Not because he has business to do there. He said, I'm going to write, I'm going to sign this thing. That is not why he's going there. He has discovered that this thing has become a shame to him and his government. So the only way he can do it is that he wants to go to China to negotiate with the Chinese government, so as to see how this money could be instrumentally paid and release all the assets that have been seized.
Let me just come in, Reverend Pete.
That actually understood. Every government wants to go and renegotiate. I mean, it's understandable. But where I was coming with my question is the fact that the Chinese borrowed Chief Bola Tinubu's flight when they disclosed that they had taken possession of the aircraft that Nigerian bought. They said that they were lending it to the Nigerian leader, Chief Bola Tinubu, to travel to France to have a discussion with the president of France. But then we noticed that Chief Bola Tinubu did come back with the same flight, according to reports. And again, the Chinese has not asked for this, for a release of the flight, and he is to travel to China again with this same Tokumbo luxurious presidential jet. So my question is, what are really your thoughts on the issue of his continued use after the Chinese said they have borrowed? Don't you think that there is a kind of a foreplay in between that suggests that that they may have settled with the Chinese as far as this presidential jet is concerned?
What I'm saying, because they have entered before the Chinese government releasing the plane to come back to Nigeria after they have seized it, means that you should know this man by now, because this man is subtle, is very cunning, crafty, and so possibly he may have paid some money to these people that you cannot even imagine, because everything that this man is doing is veiled. He veiled every of his activities so that no one will know exactly what he's doing. And he thought the way he ruled Lagos State, that is the same way he want to apply it to Nigeria, and forgetting that the Nigeria is different from Lagos, and that he is ruling an entire country and not one state or region of it. So, and that is the mistake that he's making. Now he want to tell Nigeria now, look, this people has taken Nigeria for granted for so long, as if we are dons. We don't know anything. Now this thing is happening. Instead of saying, I want to go and negotiate with these people, you said you are going there to negotiate business. You want to go to summit. From there you negotiate with. Whereas you are going there to settle. We know that you are not rightly connected to this case, but you don't need to hide anything, because this coded system of government has made things difficult for this country. When you want to do something that concerns you, you coded it. But when it concerns the Nigerians, then it become a debate. When you want to grant money to your wife for as a Nigerian first lady for cars and for office, it was not a matter of discussion. When you want to give SUV to the House of Assembly, it was not a problem. When you want to change that national item, it wasn't a problem. But when it comes to the workers' wages, it was become an issue of debate. So this man has always been in this system, and for this protest, I have always said that the storm is coming. So, and the storm is coming, and it's going to rage. And if you rage, because this time we are talking about, I don't see why the reason why you tell the police to seriously with you. We don't need to tell the police to seriously with us, because there is nowhere in the world where you need to take permission from the court.
Nowhere
you can protest, and there is nowhere in the world where the court will give you direct you and say this is where you should gather and this is how you should protest. It has never been.
Absolutely.
So since the people, the government, the governors and the commission, the ministers has decided to go on that way, then which is against the constitution. Because I don't see any reason why they should go to court for an appeal. Because the judgment is also against the constitution of the country. The constitution has never said that you have to take permission from the court before you go to protest, and that the court will decide how your protest will be. It has never been in the world. Okay. So therefore, they don't need to go to court for any reason. And the only thing they need to do is, the only thing I will advise is that they should let it be as peaceful as it can be, and let Nigeria come out now, because I love the output of the protest, fearless, in October. So, and that is what I think the Nigeria should do. No one should this time we have to come out en masse, so that they will see. I know that the Nigerians are not playing, because fear, he won before death. So when Nigeria become fearful, then their life is at stake.
Yeah, yeah, Reverend P.
All
Reverend
right.
P.
Thank you very much, Lord K. With our time.
Don't they give us signal back? Tony Day online since waiting patiently and all that.
Reverend P was saying about the China thing, because I just found something now. Nigerians' debt to China as a whole from June 2023, that was 4.7, to December 2023, it rose to $5.16 billion dollars. That's an increase of $440 million only Tinubu has spent in 6 months. And the same thing it has to France, $7.5 million, to Japan, $1.15 million, to India, $70 million, then Germany, $9.36 million. Where has all this money gone? What has he spent it for? And now he's going to China again now to go and do what?
Yeah, there is also a news by Sahara reporters that Tinubu led
Presidency has spent about 14 billion amid this very hardship on renovation of presidential quarters, honorariums, and purchase of forex. That is coming from Sahara reporters that is on the screen. But while we are deliberating, we already know that Chief Bola Tinubu and his administration are spending extravagantly. There's no dispute about that. But Tony, please, due to our time, sorry for coming so late. You have been patiently waiting. So Tony, please tell us your take both on this fearless October protest and of course the issues around the participation of the people, since we noticed that the people who had protested before are currently, many of them are held captive in different cells according to Amnesty International. Do you think that the leaders, or rather the promoters of this very fearless October protest, don't you think that they should focus their attention on demanding that the release of their people, the people who are currently being held against the will of the Nigerian people, or you think that they should focus more on their 17-point demands?
For having me. Thank you, fellow Nigerians. The fact of the matter is that the list of items, the list of demands they've presented, in the release of detainees is part of it. And as a matter of fact, it should be a high priority for them to release these people, some of whom are underage citizens of this country, and they're holding them. They should release them. And my suggestion would be, this time around, let them organize it better. Let them contact other associations, CSOs, even labor unions, so that everybody will be part of it. And they should come out and identify themselves so that the police and the government will know who they are. They don't have to hide. They have nothing to hide, to hide. They are citizens. They've not done anything wrong. If you are planning for a protest, you shouldn't be arrested. You're just planning. Why should we be arrested? They are assuming that you are going to cause mayhem. You're going to destroy things. But the organizers are actually not the ones causing the vandalism and the destruction of property. It is when the police harass the demonstrators that violence occurs. Why is it that when people are demonstrating, or on behalf of or in support of the government, nothing happens. They don't harass them. Everything looks, it seems peaceful. But when it comes to people protesting, demonstrating against the policies of the government, they unleash the police against them. Why? I think they should organize this one very, very well, so that there will be maximum participation. There is their right. It's right of Nigerians to protest, to demonstrate, and say, this is what we want. This is what we don't want. This is supposed to be our government. And our government of the people should listen to the people, not see them as enemies and attack them, causing violence. Because it's when the police attack the demonstrators that violence occurs. Look, check it out. But what they can do, I mean, the police and the other agencies, is channel the protesters from point A to point B and have them, have their say, have them present their demands, but not to quarantine them into one space and say, this is where you stay. No. Work with them. Once the leaders are identified, police should work with them for a peaceful protest, peaceful demonstration. Is their right. Why is it so troubling, so unbelievable that in this country, when people say they want to protest, it becomes something that the government sees as being their enemy? That is not right. Protests occur everywhere in the world, and they're organized peacefully. Police don't carry guns. But here, they are ready to shoot, to intimidate, to put fear on people so that they don't challenge the government policies. That is wrong. So that is my take. And like they say, elections have consequences. Whether you voted for the person or they hijacked it, this is what we're seeing. Elections have consequences. So Nigerians, next time, do something. Be part of the change we are looking for.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Before we go, I know our time has given us signal. It's really the time for us to go. But before we go, two things I want to say to our subscribers is we need to like, share, and of course, distribute this video so that other people will know that the talk about the Fearless October is already on, and for us to continue point to the promoters or the organizers of this protest to do the needful as the time they have given is ticking on each day. But Mr. Bassi, before I leave, I just want 1 minute for you to tell me your thoughts on this very particular issue I see trending about 16-year-olds in Nigeria not being able to get into university, but we now see that the senators and the big guys everywhere are at leisure, at pleasure to marry 16 years old and keep them as wives in their various homes. But they do not allow or subscribe to a young girl or boy of 16 years getting into the university, but they are okay to marry 16 years old. What are your thoughts on this? Please, very brief.
Just a quick one. This is just a clueless government who is pursuing issues that they are not supposed to pursue. And it does appear to me that when people enter APC government, they lose their mind, they lose their brain, they lose their faculty. I can't imagine the Minister of Education, who was a vice chancellor of a very prominent university coming in to make such a policy. I can't imagine it, because for me, it makes no sense. Whether a child, you are trying to deprive children from, entering school. We have a lot of child prodigy who are very skillful, who are very smart, and then you want to stop them simply because you are trying to favor your own geopolitical zone who you think are educationally disadvantaged. This is not proper. I see this as a very, very wrong policy. It should not ever even be mentioned. But here we are, because we are in a government of APC. Anything goes. People just pursue frivolity, issues that don't add value to our economy. I don't know how that policy is going to help our economy or help our educational sector.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Lord.
Okay, thank you, Reverend P. Tony, and of course, Mr. Bassi, for all your contributions today. But then again, viewers, I want you to go to the to our comment section. Tell me your thoughts about the Fearless October. Do you think that this protest should be organized in the way that the promoters should be known and be pointed to and should approach the government, or do you think that they should dialogue once again with the government? Go to the comment section, tell us how you feel. And of course, this last bit about 16 years old not allowed into universities in Nigeria, but are free to get married to alhajis and all of that. What are your thoughts on this? Please go to the comment section, tell us how you feel. Until tomorrow, we'll be talking more about this. Bye for now.